Join me in reviewing these 7 sketchbooks dating from the era of 2000 up to 2003 during my high school era. These sketchbooks are going to be reviewed for archive because I'm looking to get rid of these physical copies because this was a time when I sketched a lot as a form of therapy to de-stress and to exercise my creativity. So join me in reviewing these and let's see where it goes. All right, so the first sketchbook is, I believe this is January 21st, 2001. This is one of my favorite pieces, but I'm not sad to get rid of it. I'm a big believer in a kind of the mantra where you accept the temporariness of things. So getting rid of it is a thing, like what the monks do. But I really enjoyed doing this, just drawing, getting used to drawing trees, and I've drawing trees for me is therapeutic, honestly. Um, Reminiscent of gargoyles. Not sure what I was trying to do here. Anthropomorphic, gargoyle oriented. Got a little bit into mechas. This is kind of inspired by Gundam, I think. Just kind of based on how certain things are. Not used to all the technical stuff, but it was a thing. Yep, and then being a dude and anime, not really understanding how to draw anime effectively, just kind of getting broad concepts of how it worked. Proportioning is very important in anime, so all this is totally off proportion-wise. Yeah, the 3 girl oriented type of anime is like the Ray Earth cartoons and any other thing that was oriented by 3. And also the bathhouses where people are just mostly submerged up to the collar. Oh yeah, so RPGs were a thing for me for a while. This is partly inspired by what I'm guessing is the Protoss. Also some dinosaur-looking ones. I don't know. There's a little, there's like some segmentation of the body that is like I wasn't good with joints and stuff, so I had to just kind of go the mecha route. I think I had a friend named Kelly, and I started using Kelly as a name for a character. Trying to get used to poses. I'm still not the best with fingers, just like AI. But hands and musculature on arms. At this time, I believe I was, no, I was in high school, so I wasn't doing anything in college. I was going to say that it revolved around me going into nursing, but didn't do that. Tried practicing hair, that was difficult. Some of these hairs, I believe, were partly inspired by, was I doing World of Warcraft at this time? I'm trying to remember, I think World of Warcraft came out in 2000, I forgot. But it was like late in high school. I think a lot of my friends were still doing EverQuest. So I can't say that I was deriving inspiration from World of Warcraft. Yeah, proportioning still off. Trying to do anime, but trying to also do my own thing. Okay, so to explain these inspirations, this was partly at a time, like this particular pose, I believe there was a fighting game that had a character that was similar to this. But at the same time, I was also a fan of House of the Dead, and the Magician, one of the last bosses, had this pose. So I was influenced by that. And also these gauntlet looking things reminiscent of things like Mega Man. I was trying some graffiti urban stuff. I realized it really wasn't my thing. Um, just to be clear, I wasn't into Warhammer at the time. Not that I recall. No, that was much later. That was like 2009, 2008. I was more into um, Warhammer. At this time, I was just trying to practice with skeletons. Um, I believe this was inspired by Diablo 2 in the intro cinematic where the Wanderer sets fire to a tavern, and that's where a lot of this came from. If you remember the skeleton coming out of the pyre. Inspired by Mortal Kombat, and especially the Mortal Kombat movie. There was an MMO that I was briefly working on. I forgot the name of it. It was weird because they were just trying to gather just anybody to do illustrations. I really wasn't the best at all by any means. Um, this has some elements of what the work that I tried to do for that. Like having a high schooler do illustrations is it's okay, but they really need to be good. And I wasn't there, but just for the record, I tried doing something. This one was interesting. So there was this kind of comic booky thing that I was trying to do, and I think this Jedi was inspired by a character in Digimon, but you can kind of maybe see the influences of Miyazaki film. So I believe Princess Mononoke was the one I was watching that was influencing parts of this. Aside from Jedi, we have this Zack character. Just pulling stuff out of my brain. Didn't really have an influence. Asians with spiky hair. This one, some sort of adversary. I think I was still inspired by some level of Dungeons and Dragons. I still haven't played it at this time. Here's another character from the same thing as Zack and Jedi. I think at this point I was probably influenced by a whole bunch of things, but also Inuyasha. I don't know what I was doing here, practicing sword pose. Here's another character. I was fascinated with scimitars at this time, and if anyone is familiar with the original Drizzt Forgotten Realms books with the Underdark, I was first introduced to the scimitar as the falchion. I think there was a confusion between what constituted a scimitar, and so when illustrators did a scimitar, they confused it with the falchion, which is bigger. It's bigger at the tip of the blade, whereas a scimitar was more of a curved, like this. I don't know. At this time, they were probably synonymous to each other, but I was really big on correctness, and I still am to a certain degree. So, admiring this kind of bladed curvature, I gave this character that type of sword. This one is Dragon. I really loved Phantasmic over at Disneyland, and just other illustrations that depicted this kind of confrontation between a dragon and a wizard or sorcerer. And I tend to have fun with weather effects and effects in general. I was very fascinated with sketching visual effects. This one was inspired by Mega Tokyo, an online comic that was popular at this time in the 2000s, 2001. So I adopted, I believe the artist's name is Fred. I adopted his art style for this. Um, and this is inspired by my friend Kenny, who wore a bucket hat. And you see some I don't understand what I was trying to do here. But yeah, Greymon, Angemon, that's inspired by Digimon. Oh yeah, and then I tried, at this point I was still friends with my buddy Dean and Kenny. I was thinking of making I don't know what character this was, but I was gonna make a character being inspired by Mega Tokyo. So you can kind of see me referencing Mega Tokyo with Largo and Pyro. Um, and I was just trying to play with doing comic strips. It really wasn't great, but I tried. Spawn, very popular. I try to do that style. I love the flourishes and the complications. I started getting to complications of illustration because of that. Mara from that one comic, tried to play with different designs. I was very fascinated with the long, massive ponytail and the Chinese outfits. Went back to my character, Kelly. I feel like I've seen this composition before. I don't know where. But yeah, trying to do guns at the time. I think I'm trying to remember if I was inspired by Ghost in the Shell at this point, because I've already seen it by this point. Ghost in the Shell. Maybe also inspired by Misato from Evangelion. Then I got into this notion of building my own kind of universe attached to Digimon. I was very big into not so much creating my own intellectual property, but really just expanding from another one. So basically fanfics. This one is inspired by a little bit of Independence Day's Aliens, but also inspired by StarCraft. And then some of these little tendril things is inspired by the way the angel wings are portrayed in Diablo 2. I think this was supposed to be a connecting visual from this one. Yeah, so it was supposed to connect like this. Yeah, I really was fascinated with the concept of attaching illustrations together. This is another more anime version of that same character with a gun. Try to draw a Cyclops. Practicing portrait. Trying to do different angles. This one's like a combination of a knight mixed with Shredder, mixed with... I actually don't know. This was inspired by Tomb Raider. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't stop drawing this type of facial composition. I don't know. Another dragon. Sunset. This... I know we have these types of coasts in California. I just don't remember what. Don't know what I was doing with this. Yeah, I was fascinated with this eye thing. I just don't remember what inspired me with this one. Elf girl in a jungle, probably. Still not sure what this was for. This one, you'll notice I have that magician from House of the Dead still influencing this. But you'll have metal wings. These metal wings are inspired by Archangel from the Age of Apocalypse arc for X-Men. Tried to combine 3 different Digimon: Metamon, Fallen Angemon, and Mechamon. That same inspiration with the orb thing from the other characters. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so my buddy, so I believe I was 2001. Wait, was I in? no, this is not connected to this time. This was much later. So this was probably around 2004, 2005. This was in college. This stuff is in high school, but this was done in college. I don't think these characters are in any of the sketchbooks we're reviewing for disposal, but would you believe that when I did this, this was, so I did the pencil work on this, and there was three characters. My buddy and I, we were in Japanese 101 class. Maybe it was 102, but I think it was 101. I did the illustrations, and he said he would color it. So Steve Robbins, who I believe went back to Minnesota, he was in Pasadena with his grandma at the time when we did this. So I did the pencil sketches. He did the colors. He did the colors. He did all of this in MS Paint. This was back in 2004, 2005. Doing this in MS Paint with this level of color and detail blows my mind. I have not seen anyone at that time who can do it this way. Even using alpha channels to get textures, just Steve is a fantastic artist. He continued his art path, worked at an art store. Great guy. I might save this. I'll figure it out. Well, I'll put this over. Princess thing, I believe this was inspired by the childlike empress from Never Ending Story. Yeah, I think, maybe. Miyako was a name I got affixed to, so I started using her. Miyako as a name for a character with these bubble kind of hair things. Callaghan. Once again, inspired by a later model of Tomb Raider, Lara Croft. Don't know what I was doing with this one. Morrigan, definitely inspired by Morrigan from Darkstalkers. Doing the stereotypical bound maiden in a dungeon. Yeah, that's okay. Here's another one of Morgan. You know, you can see that the proportions are all off because when I was doing this, I focused on this as one segment, this is another segment, the arm as another segment, and the connecting point of the arm to the knee. But like if you measure the proportions, this is totally off. But the way I was seeing it, I wasn't seeing it as like a thumbnail. I was seeing it purely in sections in front of me. So that's what led to all of this disproportioning. I believe this is Felicia from Darkstalkers. Again, proportioning issues, and I still didn't get over the way I designed faces. Oh, yeah. So this is another one of it. So you can see that Steve originally did these three, and then eventually we did a five-member ensemble. Well, let me see. Yeah. MS Paint, man. Like, just crazy effort. It's just amazing work. Did Amara. Tried to do a Chibi. Morgan. You know, I think at this point, because of the way I did this, I was more focused on the feeling, the catharsis from doing the illustration and finishing it, rather than actually trying to evoke a specific style. And I think that affected a lot of the way I did art. I know I drew this from an inspiration of some anime style. This one I was predominantly practicing eyes. Then I tried to do Miyako with a very different style. This is also evocative of a style that I've seen somewhere. I think I had an art book at one point of this. Yep, see the bubble thing. Yeah, so eye proportioning, eye distance, I wasn't thinking about that at the time. Same with physical body proportions. More StarCraft stuff because I was a big StarCraft fan at the time. I don't know what this was. Fairy, I believe at this time, I definitely no. I don't think was I watching Bondage Fairies at that point. I don't know. I don't think I was. Maybe I don't know. Fairies. I was very fascinated with the. So I was referencing two things for this. One, the veins or whatever that's in a butterfly or fly wings, and the other thing I was referencing was the similar kind of patterning on certain large tree seeds with their little wings. This one was inspired by Samurai Pizza Cats. I'm pretty sure this is Samurai Pizza Cats or something comparable because there's a very specific way armor was done. No idea what I was doing this, but I was trying to reuse character names. Some wolf thing, werewolf thing. This one I was playing with lightsaber designs because I pretty much grew up on lightsabers. I don't know what this liquidy thing is. I'm assuming it's something like Venom. Doing more of those same three characters. Doing someone that really enjoys that. Did a mermaid. I was getting better about certain things. I was becoming more aware of proportioning. Still not capturing it fully, but I was getting there. So you can kind of see the growth pattern. Here's my character Mara confronting some sort of knight. Then I added a character named Suki with this type of hairstyle. No idea. Probably inspired by some kind of anime. And I made a character called Cyborg Mon. I don't know. This definitely was inspired by the Mortal Kombat 3 logo. Same. Like everyone has a frickin' Digimon. I was really big into Digimon at this time. Half elf and elf. So I believe around this time was Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition. That's where some of these were inspired by. Trying to explore close-ups. Mara with crystals floating. Another version of the dragon confronting character thing. So we got a Celestial Archon, Infernal Archon, Aether Archon. These were inspired by Magic the Gathering. This is an angel, this is a Kavu, this is a zombie, this one's a tree folk. So I was referencing creature types from Magic the Gathering. So this one is white and blue. This one is red and black. This one was blue and black. And then this one was green and red. Yeah, I guess it did a pretty good job on this one. And another one of Miyako. I feel like I've seen this from somewhere, this pose, but I don't remember. Shogun Zero Mon. So at this time, I believe the Digimon movie already came out. I believe. And there was a fusion Digimon that was a combination. Basically, I just copied some of the design. No idea. Yeah, that Digimon, the fusion between the... I forgot what the name of this character is. Anyways, I drew him. I don't know if this was an established pose or I just kind of intuitively created it. I don't remember, but I really enjoyed this one. This is actually pretty good. It'd be better if it was colored, but oh well. If I do decide to recreate this or do a painted version or someone adapts from it, it's ready to go. We could just lift it off of the video. Someone about to do some EI Jitsu. This one's Dioboro. So yeah, definitely at this time, the Digimon movie came out. Yeah, so this is Diaboromon. Really loved the character idea and concept of Diaboromon before, or maybe around the time the movie came out. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. I think this is also inspired by Magic the Gathering, but I wasn't sure what I was doing. This is based on the viral factor kind of IP that I was trying to develop. No idea what I was doing, though. I was really into girls with ponytails. Cat girl. I believe this was supposed to be DKNY because I was also very fascinated with fashion brands. Even though it was about the brand, not so much that they're doing something really cool or interesting. Doing effects here. This one definitely was developed from or inspired by Guyver. Yeah, very much straight off from Guyver. I also found like these bubbles that were like on the arms very fascinating. This is still inspired by Digimon. I was very much a Digimon fan. Nothing. Digimon stuff. Snake people. So Ophidians, the Korathans, which are like basically inspired by the Protoss, but using magic, like psychic entities, versus a snake person. No idea what I was trying to do here. I'm pretty sure I saw a character. I was like, let's just practice doing something. And then I ended this sketchbook with another scenery thing. This is some sort of mesa, cliff top, maybe even Grand Canyon with some stuff growing off of it. Yep, that's it for this one. So yeah, I will be casting this off into the fires, but thanks for watching. I'm going into Sketchbook 2 soon. Won't even close. Damn. And if I pull too much, I might... Okay, I think I'm good. Cool.